The cellular industry is going through what they call radio access transformation, and the fact is that the advent of smartphones is crucifying the operators. They just can't get enough data capacity through the networks. So they're looking at things like how do you process data in the handsets much more efficiently than you used to. They're looking at the radio side of it. How do we broadcast more data to the actual handsets? So things like MIMO use techniques where they're transmitting on two transmitters simultaneously data to a new generation of handset.
Basically, the advent of smartphones and also mobile broadband using dongles has created a huge appetite for consuming new applications, particularly video, but also, as you say, social networking and so on. And networks absolutely need to increase their bandwidth radically, and the sort of techniques you're talking about, and also the move to LTE and so on, is critical in that. But also what we find is making more efficient use of whatever bandwidth is available is also very important, and that's where our technology comes in. So we support multiple applications and use the link bandwidth very efficiently. Well, in fact, I mean, we also came out of some research that was done on a kind of academic basis, and what we have is a very general purpose mechanism that we can then tune for a whole load of different applications. So it doesn't worry us too much that new things keep coming up because we already have the technology that can handle that.
It's a very exciting time for us in the radio business because up until recently people used to think that, well, the radio business is well understood and things like that, but there's an explosion of new technology being developed, so much so that we're finding it difficult to recruit high caliber engineers because they're all fully occupied. So in spite of the recession globally and all that sort of stuff within our industry, I don't know if it's the same for you, but in our industry there's just full employment. It's just really difficult to get our hands on the right caliber of people. We have strong collaborations with universities, and we've already started interviewing graduates, and we also are hiring postdoc researchers, people like that to join us. So there aren't as many as we'd like, because we're actually developing and growing so rapidly. But
I think the biggest challenge that we have right now is being able to deploy our solution quickly enough to be able to deal with all the engagements which are coming up. I think as we were saying, there's so much growth and so much transformation in this industry.
The concept that we're promoting and we're pioneering is so revolutionary that the industries are sort of have already been thinking in a certain way, and what we're having to do is change their minds about actually that's not the best way to go forward. This is the way to go forward. So there's an educational aspect, socializing of the concept aspect of what we're doing. But so far, I mean, we've got an extremely good response from global network operators who can see that this can deliver step function improvements. But they're relying on their large global infrastructure vendors to provide the solution in the long term. So we've agreed to do a live network trial of our concept by September, October this year. So we're working flat out to get this field trial ready. And it'll be the first time ever that this technique will be demonstrated, and it'll also, prove the step function change that you can get through this new technique that we've developed. So we're very excited by having this network trial.
To change this.
The concept that we're developing is counter the solution that's being developed by the large reputable companies, and the reason we're not going down that route is because we think that's the wrong way to go. So the idea of having multiple transmitters means that there's twice as much hardware, there's twice as much cost to the operators, etc. But what we're doing is we're coming up with a simplified structure which is just smarter, and it should deliver almost the same performance but with half the infrastructure.
I mean, it's very important to be able to demonstrate the benefits of what we do. I mean, in terms of things that people are doing which are perhaps suboptimal, the whole business model of a lot of operators in terms of offering flat rate data plans and so forth is really not an ideal thing to do. What we offer is an ability to offer a much more kind of differentiated experience for the customers that they could potentially charge for on a different basis. I think that's going to be very important going forward. But it's there's some dynamics in the industry which are not helpful. Again, I think the industry has to move away from just counting packets, because that's completely counterintuitive to customers. Nobody knows what a megabyte of data is. Right. And I think in terms of mobile operators, if they can use qualitative service technology such as we have to make the delivery of specific services more reliable, then they can have something that people will pay for in terms of the delivery of the service. You can move away from just counting the number of megabytes that's required and say, okay, you'll subscribe to a social networking service or a video watching service or a VoIP service or whatever it is. And charge for that not just on the basis of the number of packets it is, but also the quality of service and the quality of experience that it delivers.